a big announcement from Donald Trump and his rival-turned-supporter, Governor Christie.
I am proud to be here to endorse Donald Trump for President of the United States. He will make sure that people around the world know that America keeps its word again. Donald Trump is someone who, when he makes a promise, he keeps it. I can guarantee you that the one person that Hillary and Bill Clinton do not want to see on that stage come next September is Donald Trump. They know how to run the standard political playbook against junior senators and run them around the block. They do not know the playbook with Donald Trump because he is rewriting the playbook. The idea that Marco Rubio can get inside Donald Trump's head is an interesting proposition, but one that's really for the D.C. parlor game. What Donald Trump is about the people of this country. We can't any longer as a country stand up and defend ourselves around the world because we have a leader who wrings his hands. I didn't hear any of that this morning from Senator Rubio. So desperate people in campaigns do desperate things, flailing punches in the last days of a losing campaign. Fact of the matter is, no one's going to get inside this guy's head. He has lived a lot of life. He's had lots of fights and battles. I've watched him do it. And there is no better fighter than Donald Trump, and he's going to fight for the American people. And you didn't hear Senator Rubio talk about any of that this morning.
Generally speaking, I'm not big on endorsements. I could have had many endorsements. I have quite a few good ones, but I could have had many, many. But, you know, I didn't want to take the time and the 2 hours and the dinners and everything else. It just wasn't worth it. This was an endorsement that really meant a lot. Chris is an outstanding man with an outstanding family. He's done a great job.
I concluded, along with Mary Pat and the children supported, that we wanted to be with the person who we thought could provide the strongest leadership for America and the person who could best make sure that Hillary Clinton never gets within 10 miles of the White House. Once we made that decision, there was clear the only choice was Donald Trump. The best choice was Donald Trump. And the last thing is, our family is one that prides loyalty. And the fact is that we have been good friends with Donald and his family for many years, and there was no choice in my mind. And when did I make the final decision? Yesterday morning, I met with Donald. We sat and talked, and he said, how about coming out on the road to Texas with me? And I said, happy to do it whenever you're ready, sir. So we did it, and that's how the process went.
And just a short time ago, Governor Christie went on the record. Governor Christie, nice to see you, sir.
Greta, nice to see you.
Governor, when did you decide that you wanted to endorse Donald Trump?
When did I decide to endorse Donald Trump? Thursday morning.
And what provoked that? What led up to that? Were you just like, it's time to do something, or what was it?
Well, first off, Greta, I've had a 14-year friendship with Donald Trump, as has my wife, Mary Pat, along with Melania. And so we've known them for a very long time, been friends with them for a very long time. And so I said that all during the campaign, that I've always had a great personal relationship with Donald Trump. It became clear to me in this past week that we needed to unite as a party behind the person who gives us the best chance to beat Hillary Clinton. That's what I've been saying all along. I think that's the #1 priority, is to make sure Hillary Clinton never gets back in the White House. And I believe that Donald Trump is the right person to provide the type of strong leadership that both our party and our nation needs to be able to beat Hillary Clinton and move forward to, advance the cause of the people of our country.
Here's what surprised me. The two of us, we talked in August along the Jersey Shore, your beautiful state, that beautiful beach that you all have. And when we talked about Donald Trump, here's what you said about him then. That was last August.
Donald's a great guy and a good person, but I just don't think he's suited to be President of the United States.
Why?
I don't think his temperament is suited for that, and I don't think his experience is.
So what has happened? I mean, maybe I don't understand politics, but he didn't have the temperament or the experience last August, and now you think he's the guy.
Yeah, well, because, Greta, I'm no longer in the race. I was the person best suited to be President of the United States. The voters decided otherwise. And of the folks remaining on that stage, Donald Trump is by far and away, with his executive experience, with his toughness, with his vision for the country's future, by far and away the best person to be the Republican nominee for president.
Well, if you and I were both in the courtroom, I'd point out to you, and I'm pointing out now, as you said, it doesn't say I don't think I'm better in temperament and better in experience. You says I don't think his temperament is suited, and I don't think his experience is. That's different.
I understand, Greta. I understand what you're saying, and I'm telling you that I believe that Donald Trump is the person on that stage now who is best suited, best prepared to make America the kind of leader around the world that it needs to be again, to make sure that we have peace in the world. And he's the kind of person who will be best for America's economy. And let's face it, we've got 2 first-term United States senators on that stage who are just, ill-prepared to be president of the United States. And my choice is that I believe Donald Trump is the best person.
Do you think that this race has gotten a little bit off the rails? I mean, we've got a situation where today Senator Marco Rubio made some reference that he thought that Donald Trump wet his pants last night during the debate, and Donald Trump certainly has said things about Senator Marco Rubio likewise back. Has this GOP race gotten a little off the rails in terms of issues?
Greta, listen, it's very competitive. There were also lots of important issues discussed last night in the race. And I understand, listen, Senator Rubio is at that point in the campaign where you're throwing haymakers every minute trying to hope that you land one. I understand what he's trying to do. And so the fact is, though, that Donald Trump last night spoke on that stage very forcefully about what he wants to do for this country. And, campaigns, when they get near, you're 4 days away from 11 contests, Greta. Everybody is trying real hard. And so, I don't think folks should believe this guy's got off the rails. No. People are competing with each other. They're trying hard. And so not every word that comes out of everyone's mouth is going to be perfect. That's okay.
One of the issues that Donald Trump is getting hit for is his tax returns. He says he's in an audit, which I totally understand. Frankly, if I were his lawyers, and if indeed he's in an audit, I'd say wait till the audit's over, since you don't want your tax returns going out in piecemeal. What about the suggestion, though, that he released tax returns that predate the years he's getting an audit? I assume that he's only getting audited at most going back 3 years.
Yeah, Greta, listen, the bottom line is this. Mr. Trump is going to release his tax returns, but he's not going to release them until his counsel tells him that it is appropriate for him to do so, given that he's being audited. And the fact is that you don't want to release them piecemeal and just give a piece of information from folks from previous years without seeing the entire picture.
How about the old ones,
I've spoken to him about this personally. He is
the old ones.
No, but Greta, that's only part of this. Greta, that's only part of the story. If you want to really know what Donald Trump earns every year, who he donates to every year, a complete picture of those habits, you need to release all of the tax returns, and that's what he'll do, but only after the time that the audit is complete. And so he's made that very clear. He wants to be completely transparent about this. I've spoken to him about this personally. He has no reluctance to release his tax returns, but he is not going to do so while he's in the midst of an audit and do it against the advice of the attorneys who are representing him.
All right, well, you and I would just, not to belabor it, I would disagree with you on the ones that aren't subject to the audit, because I know the IRS audit can take forever, and he could be out of office doing 2 terms in the presidency before an audit's ever finished, so we'd never see them with the way the IRS works.
Well, Greta, that's a problem with the IRS, not a problem with Donald Trump.
All right. Now, when you told him that you were going to endorse him, what did he say to you?
He said, "I'm thrilled and thank you."
And did you have to make
how quickly can we do it? And I said, well, when do you want to do it? And he said, will you come to Texas tomorrow? And I said, I'd be happy to. And I got on a plane last night while the debate was going on and flew down to Texas, and we did our endorsement event this morning.
Did you have to make an awkward phone call to Governor Kasich, for instance, or Dr. Ben Carson? I suspect you and Senator Rubio aren't that chummy. I've seen what happened in that debate in New Hampshire. But did you make phone calls to the others?
No awkward phone calls needed to be made, Greta, no. And the fact is that everybody knows that politics is about choosing. And I made a choice. It's my choice. I'm proud of that choice. It's Mary Pat's choice as well. And we're looking forward to working hard for our friend Donald Trump as he gets the Republican nomination and making sure we do everything we can to make sure we beat Hillary Clinton.
I take it that if Senator Rubio is the nominee, will you get behind him if he beats, because I certainly have seen that, I've seen your comments on him.
As I've said, Greta, ever since I signed the pledge that the Republican National Committee chairman put in front of me back last August, I will support the Republican nominee for President of the United States because any of those folks will be a better president than Hillary Clinton.
Would you agree with me on this, that politics is sure a whole lot different than the courtroom?
Yes, it is, Greta. It is a whole lot different than the courtroom, no doubt about it.
We have rules in the courtroom, don't we?
Yeah, well, and depending on who the judge is, sometimes those rules are followed differently, right, Greta? It's always important who the person is sitting behind the bench and making the call. Sometimes we see the rules one way or the other. That's where, the courtroom is somewhat like politics. But there's no doubt there are differences.
Indeed. Governor, thank you for joining us, and good luck, sir.
Greta, thanks for having me very much, and I appreciate the time.